But
anyway.
okay.
All right.
Last thing that I have to say then is, I mean, look, even if you can't do anything about it yourself, spread awareness about net neutrality, man. Like, honestly, like, just make sure you talk to people, because anyone you talk to who... You might talk to someone who will call the congressman and all that stuff like that. In fact, we know someone who is planning to set up a stream at one point in time where he will call the congressmen for you on the stream. So you basically just say, I am this person, I live here, call my congressman, and he will call them and be like, on behalf of blah. He's going to do like a marathon stream before that.
We got to set that up.
Yeah. And we've talked to him, and hopefully he'll let us know, and then we can, do it. Yeah. I mean, I would even be like willing to, like, we should find more people who would be willing, like almost like a telethon kind of thing, like, and I think that would be cool.
Yeah, dude.
But definitely keep that in mind. Someone said it best. Like, I think it was a Comcast sent out a tweet. They're like, we will not change anything. We will make sure everything is open to the public. We will not do any of these crazy things. We'll be completely transparent.
Cool.
And someone responded to that and was like, we don't want to use any things of this new law that we want to pass. But we want to pass it anyway. Yeah. But we won't use any of that law. Like, come on, guys. Then why do you want to pass the law if you don't plan to use any of it, right? It's like, come on.
One of those very transparent things.
Come on. Right, exactly.
Yeah, the idea, if you believe that there's any sort of ideology underpinning this at all, which I think is spurious at best, but if you think that the idea is that if you allow the ISPs more control over things and what gets through, and they can, charge money for whatever traffic goes on. The idea behind that is that they would use those extra profits to reinvest in creating new infrastructure and new products and be able to innovate, not just in that way, but in terms of how they sell their services and what services they sell in the first place. That it would spur change. But it's absurd. Those companies literally have been paid billions of dollars in taxes and in explicit payments by city and state and federal government to add infrastructure, especially fiber. That, going back to the early 90s, there were laws passed in the Congress requiring that there be some certain amount of fiber, homes get hooked up and so forth. And by some estimates, the amount of money that has gone to the ISPs as a result is $400 billion. I don't know. Is that true? I don't know.
And they kept most of it, right?
They
haven't even done that, right? Like,
very little of it.
Right.
Very little of it. And they've been sued by some cities. New York sued Verizon, I think it was, for not having installed as much fiber as they're supposed to, because they just didn't do it. So they've literally been paid to do this extra infrastructure, create new products, stuff, and they don't do it. So
they're like, you know what, this money looks better in our CEO's hands.
Yeah, the whole theory behind that philosophy is that you admit that there's greed. These companies are acting out of greed, but because of the greed, they will try to innovate and make more products, and that's better for the consumer. So you're relying on greed to make things better for the rest of the world. All right, that's the philosophy. But for some reason, that philosophy doesn't admit that greed is inherently about doing... It's greed not just in the sense that you want money. It's greed in the sense that you don't want to do stuff.
Right.
You would rather, if given the choice, make a lot of money without doing work instead of making a lot of money while working a lot. Obviously, you're greedy for your time too. It's not just that you're greedy for your money. So it's like an obviously short-sighted, silly philosophy, but that's at least nominally what they say is going on. So
what's weird about it too is
Thumbs down.
I'll actually tweet about net neutrality. There was one day that I just tweeted a bunch about it, and I had people out of like, oh, but this would be a good thing. We need to get rid of net neutrality. I'm just like, how did you believe this? Like, where did you get this from? And not only that, but they said on that the actual FCC website where you are actually putting in the complaints that the ISPs created bots to that use real people's names and things like that to fake the people going, no, this is good, to try to mask the overwhelming negativity towards it. So now I'm wondering if the people who are responding to me are bots.
Yeah, you never know for sure. Yeah, in fact, the Attorney General of New York is looking into this and is going to bring a suit against the FCC, it seems, saying that about the fact that the FCC will not give out data with respect to those claims. Like, it seems like there are a lot of people who put their names in against net neutrality, but they're dead. Like, things like that happen. And so the Attorney General is trying to look into this. How did this happen? This shouldn't be happening. But the FCC will not give them the information, which is even shadier, right? So, it's
right.
a whole bunch of nonsense. Yeah, you're right. That philosophy about greed and so forth. Extra doesn't work when there's a monopoly.
Yes, that's the biggest problem right there.
Right. But that, it's just like an extra nail in the coffin for that philosophy, because greed, if you let it run completely unchecked, greed wants monopoly. Like, if you're the very greedy person, what you want most is a monopoly.
Right.
But that's what they are going for in the first place. It's not like that's like it accidentally happened. That is the goal under that philosophy, so that they don't sort of take that into consideration, that they pretend that there's competition instead of monopolies, is extra stupid.
Right.
I don't know. There's a lot of things in politics that don't make much sense to me, but, it's much more easily explained by just there's a lot of corruption and they want some dollars.
I've had conversations with my parents about, because obviously they're up in age, and so there's a lot of health concerns, and health insurance is a problem. Pharmaceutical companies causing all that. It's all the same thing right now, right? Like car companies killing the electric car. There's that whole documentary called "Who Killed the Electric Car." Oil companies and car companies killed a lot of that, and just it's all controlled by that, and it's a frustrating situation. But regardless, obviously there's different viewpoints on like guns and all these other crazy things. That's different. But net neutrality, it's a utility. There should be no argument.
I wish that there was more of a reasonable sort of third rail in politics that just shouldn't be touched. Like, if the debate over guns runs the entire length of our country, and it's not going to stop anytime soon, right? That's it's forever. So that's fine. That's like a different thing than should we be able to have internet?
Yeah, exactly. That's the point. Is
like 50 years ago, I guess a little bit longer than that actually. With phone companies, they could have just done this, except for without net neutrality for phones. They could have done the same thing with electricity. It could have been that if you wanted to use a refrigerator, and it wasn't like the refrigerator that your electric company wanted, they would charge you double the price.
Right.
Could have been like that easily. But I haven't heard of anybody back then saying it. Like, I remember looking into this a bit back in the day. I never found anything that seemed like that was even considered.
Right.
Because it's clearly stupid.
Right.
It's clearly stupid.
Yeah, because, that was the example that I put. Like, can you imagine they would just be like, do you want to buy the bathroom water package?
Right.
And you want to buy the kitchen water package? Sorry, you can't wash your car, because we're not going to turn on the hose outside unless you buy the hose package to water your plants.
Right.
It's that kind of thing.
It's clearly stupid.
It's I don't know. Like,
That's why I think, like, at the start of this, I was like, I don't really think there are philosophical arguments behind this. It's not guns so far. I get it. There's a philosophical argument. Yeah. Right? It's not just about the fact that you want to shoot. I get it. Like, there's more. All right. I may disagree with it, but I understand. But in this case, there's not. Yeah. There's not a real philosophical argument. They want the dough. It's very transparent. So.
Yep.
Hopefully it doesn't work out. We'll see.
Again, talk about it. Make noise about it. If you aren't going to call your representatives, then someone that you talk to might do it. Just spread the awareness around there, and hopefully the vote is like sometime mid-December, right?
Mid-December, yeah.
It's mid-December, so hopefully we can get word and make sure that this thing doesn't happen, because a lot of things are going to go crazy if that actually happens, and it's not going to be pretty, because the internet is not. It's not like TV. It's very different than what cable company does with TV. TV is still like entertainment stuff, but the internet is literally like a lifeblood of society now. Like it's a very different thing. And even the fact that like some poor neighborhoods don't have internet, and like there was like stories about like in these neighborhoods where these kids are starting to now set up things to actually give internet to their neighbors and stuff like that, which is really cool. But like the internet it's not like cable TV to me. It really is like electricity, water, and stuff. Like as sad as that is to say that, but that's how pervasive the internet is. People need the internet to do business.
It's everything.
You know, all sorts of
business,
things.
fun, everything. It's everything.
Right, and especially for guys like us too, like streamers, and if you like watching the Twitch streams and things like that, it's gonna change everything in that situation, right? So
yeah, for video game development and esports, it's a big deal. Do you like say that Capcom comes into $1 trillion and they pay ISPs to throttle other fighting game traffic,
right?
So now you can still play Tekken. If you want, but it's going to be 1,000,000 frames of lag, right? Because they've shut it down more or less.
Right.
That would be crazy.
And I was even thinking about that. Can you imagine if like Twitch struck a deal with Comcast, and now Comcast was the only exclusive provider of Twitch?
Yeah,
they could absolutely do that.
Sure.
Because like you think about what right now when you want to actually watch movies streaming, it's like okay, you go to Netflix. Oh, they don't have it. Yeah. I gotta go to Hulu. Oh no, they don't have it. I gotta go to Amazon Prime. I mean, like there's all these different packages, and like you got like that could actually happen to the internet at some point.
That kind of thing already sort of can happen. That's right. Like, have you ever tried to? You have cable TV still?
Yes, I do.
So I don't, and I can't watch things on the internet oftentimes unless I also have a cable package.
Right. Yeah.
So that kind of stuff already exists, but yeah, for sure it would be worse, and it would suck if. As is more likely, the ISPs were to basically blackmail Twitch and all the Netflix, all the companies that use a lot of streaming bandwidth. Because man, those companies pay a ton anyway. I can't even tell you how much Twitch must be paying to have the amount of upload that they have. It must be just ridiculous,
right?
Ridiculous. So it's not like they're not paying their
my
share.
Internet costs like $100 a month, so theirs just must be like, sorry, inside joke. Anyways.
Yeah. Tournament organizers.
Yeah,
easy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway. Hopefully it doesn't happen. We'll see.
Yep,
there hasn't been a lot of stuff this year that has worked out like well, in my opinion at least.
Yeah.
But it's not been nothing, okay? And so like when, for example, everybody blew up when Trump first announced the Muslim bans, that I think probably did have an impact.
Yes.
I don't think that was negligible. So, was that the deciding factor as to why courts originally shut it down? Maybe not. Mm-hmm. But it certainly had a big impact, and it limited what the administration was capable of doing moving forward. Mm-hmm. It really has an impact in big situations like that. So if we can get that sort of stuff against getting rid of net neutrality, I think it can have an impact.
Right. You want to know what to me was one of the most ironic things was? Remember when they tried to repeal the thing that you could bring back elephant parts as trophies and stuff like that? Isn't the Republican symbol an elephant?
It sure is.
Like,
yes.
Wouldn't they want to protect that?
Ha
You would think. Anyways, that's getting too far into politics now.
It turns out that, from what I've read, Trump is actually against big hunting.
Yeah.
And has been, but his sons are way into it.
Yeah, the picture of his son.
They go frequently. It's not like a casual thing for them. But apparently Donald Trump himself doesn't like it. I don't know. That's what I've read. Whatever.
Anyways. Fight net neutrality. All right.
Okay.
Wow, we actually went quite long.
I did not expect that.
2-week episodes.
Bummer. Thanks for hanging out with us all this time.
Yeah, I know. Cool. Anything coming up this weekend?
Oh, man. Now my thing's dead. Did you see the tweet to us from somebody in Russia?
Yeah. I faved it. I also faved a video from my favorite singer. Let's see. There is a Russia CIS Invitational Tournament with Guilty Gear and Tekken 7 as the main games called Winter Rumble.
Cool.
So it's a 16-man Russia CIS Invitational Tournament.
And then, yeah, there's more info.
If you go down here, more info. There's over 100K rubles in prize winnings, money matches, and raffles on stream. Top 16 Tekken 7 will be on December 3rd, and Guilty Gear Xrd, so they have the time here. I'm going to retweet it right now. So if you go to my timeline at twitter.com/jchensor, you'll see information on it. It'll be streamed in Russian at twitch.tv/fightingru, and in English at twitch.tv/fightingru2.
Okay, very cool.
So
it doesn't say where in Russia?
No, it doesn't say where in Russia, but definitely
it's a tiny country, should be easy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
There you go. So, all right,
I guess that's it, folks. Thanks a lot for joining us. We will definitely do a Capcom Cup preview next week. We'll definitely be talking about that.
All right.
100%.
Cool. Peace out, everyone.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh wait!
Dun, dun,
Don't.
dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun,
Okay.
dun.
Are you doing the wrong one again?
No, man, Meatball Parade is such a good song.
Yeah, you always do the Meatball Parade one instead. Sorry. Hang on a second.
Tiny country. All right. Thanks for buying the Twitch package from your ISP for us in 2018.